I mean, it is truly a two-way street. It's really about both people being willing to be flexible about their own thinking and flexible about their own expectations. It's like there are times you say, you know, all right, I want that, forget about it. You know, it's like so what? What has helped me be able to be with somebody who I think is really extraordinary is my being willing to give up winning at that moment, because I think that has to do with my ego or my winning. It's like, come on, man, what are you out for?
Communication is the most important thing in a relationship. So to be with someone who I could tell was willing to communicate is huge, because you're going to be in a relationship, if you're in a long-term relationship, for many, many years, and there will be ups and downs, and there'll be whatever passion and attraction there be, but there's communicating to take you through the entire thing. So one of the things that I saw about him was that we could communicate, and that was really important to me.
One has to decide what is the most important thing. Is it the relationship, or is it being right, or is it being the best, or what comes first? And I think for us the relationship comes first. Do we irritate each other? Yes. Do we get in fights? Absolutely. Do we knock heads? Yes. Mm-hmm. Do we provide an environment where the two of us can thrive and have resources to do not only our own careers, because I think you'll agree, our relationship has enabled us to do things we could not do before.
Oh, absolutely.
Because those resources are freed up. That, to me, is the key. I mean, the key is not only the protection that we provide each other ongoing through life, with regard to the outside environment, but also protection from each other, but the self-esteem, the encouragement, the tether, the not being afraid of the relationship ending, all of that has provided us resources for individual growth together, and just as being, I'll just speak for myself, being somebody I never dreamed I would be. I mean, I did dream it, but I never thought it would happen. I am constantly amazed at what being with you has enabled me to do. I mean, amazed.
Thank you.
I'm really a firm believer that love never fails. And a good friend of mine once said that love always looks like it's losing until it's not. And sometimes relationships don't last because people, they want to win, or they want to be right. And I think being right is important, but if being right comes at the expense of love, the price is too high. So I would rather choose love than be right. Let the need to be right go, and choose to love instead. That's how you stay together for a long time.
由于我们是两个呢，都希望自己的婚姻啊，整个家庭里边，因为婚姻除了两个人，第三个人出来以后就是家庭，有了子女以后 ，daughter 就是一个家庭，这个家庭呢就是维系下去，这个把整个家庭维系下去呢，当中除了责任以外，还有很多很多的这个需要解决的问题。那么这些问题怎么解决呢？大家就是互相包容一些。那么如何包容呢？一定要有心胸，要有心胸。他能包容我，我能包容他。那么大家要有这个心胸。为什么说我们和其他很多家庭不一样呢？很多家庭里边呢，就是他们有兴趣，家庭里边没有兴趣，就是没有值得大家共同都有兴趣的事情来做，可能就显得平淡一些。我们的婚姻生活呢也比较的平静，但是呢里边有很多有趣的事情。老杨也很有趣，平常说话这些都比较有趣的。那么这些呢就是我们做的一些事情，但双方共同感兴趣的东西多一些。 好像这个呢，维系起来就比较好一些。
Because I've been around a while and I get to talk to some young people once in a while and guys who have problems, the first question I always ask them is, are you in love? Because if I wasn't in love, I wouldn't have the strength to go through what needs to be gone through. You know, the self-examination that's necessary and the forgiveness that's necessary, the understanding that's necessary, the patience that's necessary, the tolerance that's necessary, having to change, you know, give stuff up, you know, make room for another person because the tendency is to be selfish, you know, my tendency is to be selfish. And, you know, I'm in love with Nancy, and that's always made it worth it. You know, whenever I have tried to run away or think that I can't take this stuff anymore, marriage is too hard, I just want to be on my own, when I calm down, what's there is, and I feel it right now, a very deep feeling of love. And that's always made me say, you know, I'm not going to find somebody else or something else or be happy alone, you know. I'm okay being alone, but being with Nancy is the best thing that ever happened to me, you know. Absolutely the best thing that ever happened to me. And that gives me the strength. So that's the glue for me. For you, I don't know. You're in it for the money, right?
Yeah. Well, I always say to Barry that there's nothing on the street he can't get at home.
We are not intention to get divorced. If possible, we like to stay together all the time. I think everybody wants that way. But sometimes many times they find it's difficulty. Marriage is the most easiest things than a divorce, because the passion just burn. Right? But after that, I have my character show up. Her character show up. Sometimes it's clash, fight. It's easy to divorce. It's simple way, done and goodbye. If it works, it's good. If it's not, try the other way. If it's not, then you can start consider divorce seriously. I didn't realize when, like at 20 age, 30 age, but when we get older, we're beginning to understand. It means we have to grow up. So some people doesn't feel that way, doesn't know that way, didn't care about that way. So they clash and say sayonara, goodbye. But luckily, our background, Japanese background, we are very sophisticated people. And this kind of understanding, and especially she is very much so.
比如说有意见不相同，或者是有什么要决定的时候，我们会互相商量一下，然后起一个对家庭或者是对我们彼此最好的一个选择。不会说是他做一个决定，我必须要说，他不会说单独做一个比较大的决定。如果说是200块钱买个东西，他可以做决定的。我们是一个共同的决定，一个大的事情，比如我们要买一个车或者买一个房子的话，那么我们会2个商量。我比如说是我喜欢一个大一点的房子，他喜欢一个小一点的房子，那么我们会买一个中间的房子，就是这样一个找一个对大家都能够接受的一个点。
We might have different ideas, but we can make a common goal through a kind of negotiation or something like that.
Only one of us is allowed to be an asshole at a time. So I think that's a really good rule for people. It's hard. It's a hard one, but if you really could keep it and just, he's in a bad mood now, let me not get sucked in, let me go try to help him, and then just back away and not go get sucked in is a good rule. I think that's kind of in the same vein as like him. Do whatever it takes to like him.
A few things happened on that trip off of the island of Capri that I think solidified that, okay, this is right. And I think one of the things was that you were being a brat about something.
Sure.
I called you on it.
Yep.
Which you are not used to. You fought back. And I was like, no. I stood my ground and we had a crazy fight. And, you know, I just trusted myself that I know what's going on. Even though she's an excellent lawyer and trying to. So finally, which was amazing to me, in a moment, got it. And she was like, okay, you're right. And after all this arguing, all this fighting, she was able to switch it around and say, you're right. I'm sorry. So two things happened. She discovered that she met someone who is going to support her in being 100% great. And I found someone who could cop to her shit.
You can't win a relationship. Right? So if I'm trying to be the winner and make her the loser, we're dead. Or vice versa.
You have to make the marriage senior. Just like in a company that works, the people in the company decide that the company is senior to the individual ego needs of the employees. So too in a marriage. And I don't think people understand that. You have to make the marriage senior to the individual ego needs of the participants. And I was not operating that way. So that was a huge revelation.
也吵过架，但是很快的就解决，不会拖很长时间。
都说有时候工作上遇见不愉快的事儿了，回来两个人一块儿互相撒撒气，就是没在感情上从来没有的。
那个我们总感觉有问题不怕，有问题互相呢，有一方面要让一下，一让呢，这事情就解决了。不让，一个都不让一个，那个分手问题不行。我们的经验就是，比如说他发了脾气了，那么我让一下，或者我发了脾气，他让一下。互相一忍让，事情就过去了。过去就事情很短，我们从来没有搞什么几天的闹别扭，闹得不说话呀，什么吵架没有。
We never fought. That sounds crazy, but we didn't. It was a matter of me giving in to him or him giving in to me, whatever, and we always got along.
Well, there's a little secret there, like 50-50. I figured I'd give her 55 and I'd take 45. I don't think we've ever had an argument that we couldn't settle then and there. And we don't have any problems. I got some good advice to our younger generation. Don't expect anything from your future wife that you wouldn't give to her. You'll be all right. One more kiss. Okay?